are live, and I would like to welcome everyone to our special webinar on starting a top business school in Germany. My name is Georgi, and I will be today mostly the moderator, I would say, of the webinar. And you can see the main people, the main actors of today's webinar. So our guests from 4 German universities who will be presenting 4 different programs. We have 3 programs on master level and more general ones, and also 1 program on a bachelor level. So all programs are well represented, and that's why I think that it will be interesting for all our attendees. Nina will be helping me out with the webinar. She and me, together with me, will be behind the scene, and we will be addressing your questions in the Q&A section, which you can see in the bottom part of your Zoom interface. And whenever there are direct questions also to the programs, please make sure that you mention it, so it's easier for us to collect the questions and address them to our presenters at the end of the webinar. So towards the end, we'll have a live Q&A session where your questions will be addressed. So stay tuned and send your questions as much as you can. Use this opportunity in the Q&A. All right, so not to take a lot of your time, let me quickly jump into the agenda of our today's webinar and introduce to you our guests. So you should see my screen right now. Yeah, as I said, starting a top business school in Germany. And as I said, we have 4 guests from 4 different German universities. And let me already introduce to you our first guest, Laurence Wilson from ESTM Berlin. And you know where Berlin is, I'm sure. So I will not comment on the map. And yeah, Laurence will talk about several programs. That's why, not to take his time, I will stop sharing my screen and will invite Laurence to the floor.
Welcome, everyone. Yeah, thanks very much for taking the time to come along and hear from us today. So my name is Laurence, and I'm here representing ESTM Berlin. So just a quick rundown of what I'll cover today. So I'm here to talk about our 3 MBA programs. They're delivered in 3 different formats, and each of the programs is slightly different. So full-time, part-time, and global online. I'll also talk a little bit about careers and admissions as well. Unfortunately, I am not able to stay for the whole session. So if anyone does have any questions for me, then feel free to send them through now, and I'll do a quick Q&A at the end of my bit. And then I'm afraid I'll have to miss the main Q&A, the main event at the end of everyone's presentations. So first off, who are ESTM? Yes, you mentioned we're in Berlin, and hopefully everyone kind of knows where Berlin is. It's the capital of Germany. This sort of shiny building facade that we have here on the right-hand side, that's our front door, our campus front door. I'm currently on the 3rd floor of that, but much further over to the right. And for those who are interested in where that is in relation to the rest of Berlin, we're basically at the bottom of this tall, pointy thing on the left, which puts us very much right in the center of town. And we're not here by accident. So the school was founded in 2002 by this group of 25 multinational corporations. And the idea was that they weren't necessarily happy with the graduates that they were getting from other business schools. So they thought, right, let's just cut out the middleman and do it ourselves. So originally we existed just to provide education to the employees of these companies. Obviously, since then, things have expanded out quite a lot. And we do offer a much wider range of programs than we did back then. But ever since, and hopefully you should see that crop up throughout all of our programs, these 3 pillars have always been sort of at the center of what it is that we teach. So leadership, innovation, and analytics. Now, we always say that you probably shouldn't put too much stock in rankings, and I'm sure everyone here today has a selection of very, very good rankings that put them at the top of stuff. But for the last sort of 3 years, the European business school rankings from the Financial Times has listed us as #1 in Germany and number 9 in Europe. And then for this last year, we've got bumped up to number 7 in Europe. So that's very nice. More importantly, though, is the accreditation. So we are one of around 100 schools in the world who have this, it's called a Triple Crown accreditation, which just means that we're accredited by all 3 of these, the main global accreditation bodies. So AACSB, EMBA, and EQUIS. The FIBA at the bottom, that's also the German accreditation body. But what that means is wherever you end up in the world, wherever you sort of take your degree, it will be recognized. So the first program that I'll talk about today is the full-time MBA, is the classic. It's for those who have at least a minimum of 3 years of work experience. The average is around 7 or 8 years of work experience. So it's for those who've already had a pretty significant career, but who are looking to make a change. It's usually one of 3 things that they're looking to change. So to change industry, to change role, or to change location. Now, almost everyone, well, I would say absolutely everyone in the class will change at least one of these things. The majority of people will change 2, and there are some superstars who manage to change all 3. But like I said, it's for those who've already had a pretty significant career, but who are looking to take that kind of next step, with a bit of a change involved into those sort of slightly more senior leadership positions. The program is 15 months and it starts in January every year. And the way that the curriculum has been built is that it offers you quite a lot of flexibility, not just through sort of projects and extra things that we'll see on the next slide, but fundamentally through choosing what kind of curriculum it is that you want to learn. So you can choose to specialize in either managerial analytics, innovation and entrepreneurship, or strategic leadership. And I mentioned that there were a few other sort of projects and things available. So as well as those sort of curriculum specializations, you can also choose between an internship, the social impact challenge, intensive German lessons, the summer entrepreneurship program, international field seminars, international options, international exchange options, the responsible leaders fellowship. That's actually the session that I'm running away to do. I'm doing a webinar with someone who's currently in Africa doing the Responsible Leaders Fellowship at the moment, as well as a number of elective options. The other thing to sort of mention here is our kind of class profile, and you'll see that this is quite similar for a lot of our programs. It's not huge. I mean, we accept somewhere between sort of 40, 50, 60 students, depending on the program, every year. And the idea for that is that whilst you might not necessarily have the broadest network, than, say if you went to a school with hundreds or thousands of MBA students, your network will be very, very deep. You will have worked very, very closely with every single person on the course. And so you will have had that very sort of intense learning experience from everybody else. The other thing to mention is how international the program is. So from our current class of 41 students, we have 21 different nationalities represented, and 88% of the class are non-Germans. So for all of you tuning in who are coming from outside of Germany, you will be part of a much larger group of non-Germans, which tend to sort of outweigh the natives, as it were. The gender ratio this year is, again, something we're quite pleased with. It's not that for all of our programs, but it's something that we are working on. Definitely, it's nice to see that we sort of finally got it right with the full-time MBA this year, and hopefully that's something that we can sort of take forward into future years in our other programs as well. So the second program I was going to talk about is the part-time MBA. So this is for those who are in a similar position in their life. They're also interested in doing an MBA. They're also interested in sort of upskilling and moving their career on to the next step. But they don't necessarily want to have to quit their job and take themselves out of the job market for a full 15 months. So this is a 2-year program, which is delivered in a sort of blended format. So 80% is online and 20% is face-to-face. So the idea is that you do a lot of your work independently, asynchronously, we call it. But for 14 weekends over the course of the 2 years, you come to the Berlin campus and you get that sort of face-to-face interaction, networking, and learning. Now, again, the class profile here is, again, very, very international. Unfortunately, the gender ratio definitely not so good with this class, but again, we are working on it. But you can see that those sort of smaller, more intimate classes are something that we try and keep going through all of our programs, and also, trying to keep that sort of international ratio very, very high. Now, finally, is the global online MBA. Now, again, the curriculum is not too dissimilar to the full-time and to the part-time, but this is delivered in a fully online environment. So for those who are based perhaps too far away to not be able to travel to Berlin for those face-to-face sessions, or for those whose career is very unpredictable in that sense, we don't necessarily want to have to commit to coming to Berlin for those face-to-face sessions. This is probably the program you should be looking at. So as I said, delivered in 100% online format. Most of it takes place through our sort of dedicated online learning spaces. So we have a learning hub, as it's called, which was sort of developed in-house, that was built specifically for this program, as well as live sessions, which happen, I would say, once every 2 weeks. There will be a 2-hour live session. It takes place twice in a day so that we catch every time zone around the world. And that takes place through a separate platform called Engagely. But again, these are platforms that have been designed to encourage collaboration and to encourage working together in an online space. So hopefully and happily, it's nice to say that there is still a tremendous sense of community within the class. You know, that sort of bond and that teamwork hasn't been sort of affected too much by the fact that the class is taking place online. And again, the class size here, around 50 students, but also again representing that sort of international flavor. So that's all well and good. You're going to learn lots of interesting things. You're going to have lots of interesting opportunities. But fundamentally, coming to business school is mostly, the point of it is to further your career. So we recognize that. And for students who take part in any of our programs, whether that's Masters all the way up to Executive MBA, we have a dedicated team of career services professionals who are based here on campus. And essentially, it's their job to help with your career. It's their job, if you do the full-time MBA, to help with your post full-time MBA employment for exactly afterwards. If you're doing the online MBA or the part-time MBA and you're looking a bit more in the future than that, then it's their job to set you on the right path so that in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you're still making the correct decisions, you're still moving in the correct direction. The way they do that is through one of two ways, or two of two ways, I suppose. The first is through working on yourself. So we call this sort of like career therapy, as it were. So individual guidance, deciding where it is you want to go in your life, and working on your profile through things like strength finders and cover letter workshops and interview practice and all that sort of stuff. The second is through networking. So bringing you to companies through company visits and bringing companies to you through companies coming to campus, the biggest of which is our career fair, which happens twice every year. Now, these are available for students on every program, full-time, part-time, online, whatever it is. There is baked into the curriculum time spent with the career services team for exactly these kind of activities. So if that all sounds wonderful, I think if you've been convinced by my 10-minute pitch, then I can tell you a little bit more about the sort of application journey. Now, this is pretty similar for all of our programs, but just gives you an idea about the kind of student it is that we're looking for. So obviously you have to put your application together. You have to gather lots of documents and do some essays and get some references and in a couple of cases do a video and that sort of thing. And once you've gathered all that together and you've hit submit on your application, the next step is that you'll be invited to a personal interview with one of our admissions team. Now this, I think, is one of the most important parts of the journey for us, because I mean, as you saw before, our classes aren't enormous, 50, 60 students. And it only takes one or two with the wrong kind of attitude to spoil that experience for everybody else, especially when you're dealing with such a tight-knit group. So what we use the interview for is to really work out whether this student is the right fit for us. And the idea is that we're trying to find students who are collaborative rather than competitive. So for example, I mean, it's a business school, everybody's a bit competitive, but we do want students who are going to work to make sure that everybody in the group succeeds, rather than just saying, oh, you know, forget you guys, I only really care about my own grade in that sense. That's exactly the wrong sort of attitude. And that's really what we use the interview for. The admissions team will be sitting down with an interview with you and thinking, okay, if I was to be put in a study group with you, would I think, oh goodness, this is going to be hard work? Or would I think, great, you know, this is going to be fun and we're going to do some good work and get a good grade. So if you can get those sort of qualities across through the application and through the interview, then you'll definitely be at an advantage. Once that's happened, we'll sort of send you over to the admissions committee. They will sort of review the whole profile before giving you a decision. And this whole process should take no more than 3 to 4 weeks maximum. It's quite flexible. Once you submit your application, about a week to interview. Once you've done your interview, about a week or two until you receive the decision. Now, for those of you who are applying to scholarships, that happens through the application process as well. If you want a bit more information, there's a very, very long list on the website. And for those who would be applying for example, the full-time MBA, once you have been accepted, we'll sort of then shift you on to our student services team, who will then handle things like the relocation and visas and getting you set up in Berlin and introducing you to the community and all that sort of fun stuff. So that is everything from me, and I'm happy now to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Laurence. Right now, there's no particular question, so let's wait for some more time. And yeah, thank you very much for a very interesting presentation, very concise, and at the same time, thank you for the time management. So let's move now to our next guest and do the second presentation. Just a second. Yes. So yeah, our second guest, as I said, is Jana Vogel from Leipzig Graduate School of Management, and she will focus on masters in full-time master in management. And you can see Leipzig, it's not very far from Berlin. We are still in the eastern part of Germany. Let me stop sharing the screen and invite Jana to the floor.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and I just share my screen. Yeah, so welcome, everybody. Yeah, as George said already, we are located 1 hour south of Berlin. So Leipzig is actually named the Better Berlin. Yeah, maybe you're yeah, Laurence is laughing. So no, but Leipzig is also a very dynamic and very fast-growing city. So my name is Jana, and I work for HHL already since over 20 years. So I know the school and our DNA very well. And I'm also responsible for the Master in Management program at HHL. We have today 3 different tracks, which I will introduce to you. And of course, I will also talk about our school and our career perspectives, and also how to get in HHL. Yeah. So that's about me. So let me start with our university. So I prepared 3 reasons to go for a master degree at HHL. I will start with talking about the school. Then I will introduce our 3 tracks in the Master in Management program. And then at the end, I will talk about, we call it our the special HHL spirit. So about HHL, so HHL was founded actually already in 1898. So we have a very long tradition in educating effective, responsible, and entrepreneurial business leaders. This is our mission. Since then, of course, we had a very, let's say, interesting history. And in 1992, HHL was established as a private business school, and since then we started with 1 program. Actually, we started with the former diploma program in management, and then in 2000 we also offered an MBA program, and in 2005 we switched the diploma program into the master program. Yeah, we are a graduate school. That means we don't offer bachelor degrees, so we just offer master degrees, master in management and MBA degrees, full-time and part-time. Laurence already also talked about rankings. Of course, rankings are rankings, but of course we are also quite proud of some of our rankings. For instance, we are ranked #1 as entrepreneurial university in Germany among the small universities by the Startup Radar. And then we are also in the Financial Times ranking. We are quite proud that our graduates have the highest salary in Germany regarding the Financial Times Masters in Management ranking. Then our students are also quite satisfied. So we are several times in a row we have been placed among the top 10 when it comes to graduate satisfaction with the master program. And our career service is also very high ranked in the Financial Times ranking, Masters in Management ranking. Here we also had positions among the top 10. We were a very small business school, so we have only 780 students. So altogether, all MBA or Master Management or PhD students. So that means we are a very small school that also shows that we have a very, let's say, personal touch to our students, and we have a very close interaction between students and faculty, as students and administrative staff, and also we have a very close connection to our alumni. We have over 3,000 active alumni worldwide, and then we have also over 140 partner universities worldwide, because all of our students, all of our master students have to do a term abroad. Sometimes it's a big weird for international students, because they are already abroad in Germany, but they have to do with us another term abroad. And Therefore, we have over 140 partner universities worldwide. And in general, we have 35% international students. This varies from program to program. I show you the ratio in the master program later. So then another thing what sets apart from let's say other business schools is that we have a very strong focus on entrepreneurship. So we have a very let's say an ecosystem where you can try out your business ideas, not only in the lecture room. So we also offer, let's say, business plan seminars or courses in entrepreneurship, but we have also an incubator. We call it Digital Space, where you, or together with other classmates as a team, can work on your business ideas. And if you have founded already a company, a startup, then you can go into Spin Lab, where you can grow and scale your company. And we have among our alumni, we have many alumni who started their own business. 350 alumni started their own business, and among them we have also quite known companies, unicorns. You maybe know Trivago or About You, but also smaller companies are founded by our alumni. And yeah, that's and we have a very close connection also to these companies. They come back to us on campus and for instance for the startup career fair, and recruit our students for internships or for permanent positions also after graduation. So this is this is about our, let's say, entrepreneurship community. But then we have, of course, also a strong network to companies and let's say politicians and influencers. So for instance, Angela Merkel is one of our honorary doctor, and also Michael Porter is one of our honorary doctor, and that means we are also in close contact with these people. And now I would like to introduce our master program. So we have one program. This is the Master in Management program, but in this program we have three tracks. Yeah. The first track is the General Management track. The second one, which was established 2 years ago, is the Finance track. And as of this year, we also offer an Entrepreneurship track. So all tracks take 21 to 24 months. They all start in September. They are all taught in English, and application deadline is in May for non-EU students, or in June, end of June for EU students. And all of them have, as I said already, a term abroad included. And the difference is between the tracks is, of course, the focus. Yeah, in the management track, you have the possibility to choose 2 out of 4 specializations, which is strategic management, financial decision making, transformation management, or digital entrepreneurship. In the finance track, you focus on corporate finance, and in the entrepreneurship track, of course, you focus here on entrepreneurship topics like digital entrepreneurship, and also advanced entrepreneurship courses like intrapreneurship or growing and scaling companies. And the special thing in the entrepreneurship track is that you can, as I said, go with your team, or you're alone, or with a team member. You can go into the incubator, the digital space, and for 12 weeks and work there on your business idea. And and then you can also go into the Spin Lab and try to grow your company. So this is the special, let's say, elements in the entrepreneurship track. Yeah. Also in our, maybe I tell you about the class profile. We are, as I said, quite small. We have about 60 students, all tracks together in the classroom, and 50% international students, so 50% from Germany, 50% international students. Average age is about 24, and we do offer the GMAT to get, if you want to apply, you need a GMAT to get admitted. And on average, we have a GMAT score of 620 among our students. And yeah, actually all tracks follow the same structure. Maybe I go to the next. No, our tracks follow the same structure. We start with a welcome week in end of August, in the beginning of September, 2 weeks actually, where we offer team building activities, social activities, and networking activities, just to form the class, that you get to know each other, to get to know your classmates, and so just to settle down at HHL in Leipzig, and yeah, to form a class, a community. And then you start, so all students do together the essential courses. And in the second term, our students have to do a student consulting project, or the entrepreneurship students, they have to do a business venturing project. And then in the third term, you will start with your deep dives. Yeah, if you are on the management track, you will start with your management deep dives. Finance or entrepreneurship then will go into these deep dives. And the fourth term is a flex term. That means students can do an internship, or they can, as I already said, go into the digital space and work on their business idea. The fifth term is the term abroad. All of our students have to go abroad for this term. And when you come back, you have still, again, a flex term to do an internship. And the last term is meant for the master thesis. So that shows that you can do up to 2 internships within the program, and you can even do 3 internships at the end if you write your master thesis together with a company, for instance. Yeah. So this is the world map with all our partner universities. So we have partner universities worldwide. We have very renowned partner universities like Chicago or TAC. And we have universities in Europe, of course, in Asia and in Latin America. So and students are free to choose where they want to go. And we even offer double degree options with some of our partner universities. So this is something up to you. And yeah, when it comes to career opportunities, we have a very dedicated career service team. They work with you on your whole career plans. They do career orientation workshops with you. They work with you on your application material, on your CV, on your cover letter. And so they help you. And the most important thing is that they provide you with contacts to our alumni. Our alumni help us a lot when it comes to open the door for you in a company. Of course, you have to apply by yourself, and you have to convince by yourself. But we help you with our strong network, especially with our strong alumni network. And we have a very strong focus in the consulting industry. So all the big consultancies, actually, like McKinsey, Bain, BCG, Roland Berger, Stern Stewart, they all recruit at HHL. So that leads to the fact that, we have, it depends on the class, but we have about 30 and 50% of our students or our graduates start their career in the consulting industry. And we have also quite high, as I said already, starting salaries among our graduates with almost 70,000 euro starting salary after graduation. I think this is very, very good. And also the employment within 3 months after graduation, 95% start their job 3 months after graduation, which is also very good in my eyes. And the second important sector is the banking and finance industry. So many of our alumni also start in venture capital or fintech companies or in banks. And then internet e-commerce startups is also an important sector for us. So when it comes to financing your studies, of course, we are a private business school. That means you have to pay a tuition fee at HHL. We offer some cooperations with institutions which offer educational loans like Quality Finance or Brain Capital. Then we have also some scholarships available. Criteria here are the GMAT score. So you need to apply for a scholarship, you need at least 650 in the GMAT. And of course, we also look for other criteria like your GPA, the admission interview, and also your extracurricular activities play an important role in the scholarship application process. And the HHL spirit, I mean, this is something not easy to talk about in a virtual session. I try to do so. Here I have a picture of our alumni, Irene. She worked for BCG, and now 2 years ago, I think she founded her startup Edurino, and she said the HHL spirit is undoubtedly something that makes HHL very special. It is determined by a strong cohesion, a close community, and often friendships due to the academic orientation, exceptional personalities in the alumni network, as well as numerous initiatives. Students are inspired and motivated to entrepreneurial thinking and acting. So actually she mentions that it's a very close community with like-minded people who want to make an impact, who want to thrive, who want to work together and to make an impact in the world, and which also leads to a very active and close alumni network. But we have also some student initiatives at HHL. Of course, we have the HHL Venture Capital Club, the European Ivy League, which is a football tournament. Then we have an Accelerate conference, which is an entrepreneurship conference. We have TEDx at HHL, and Business Students Without Borders is a charity initiative. Yeah. So what I always suggest, if you are interested in studying at HHL, the most important thing in my eyes is talk to our students, try to get in touch with them, ask them about their experience, and therefore we have an ambassador program on our website. You can scan the QR code here, and there you find many of our students who are willing to share their experience with HHL, and I really encourage you to do so, because I think students are the best ambassadors, and they can tell you the most interesting things about business schools, and that's why I would encourage to talk to our students, or even alumni. So become a part of our community. How would this work? So what we are looking for is, of course, we look for a certain academic performance. So one of our main criteria is a Bachelor in Business Administration, and or in a related subject like industrial engineering also, or a business psychology, or something related to business. Then we ask also for the GMAT or a comparable GRE. 600 in the GMAT is a minimum. And then we also ask for proven English skills, for instance, with the TOEFL or the IELTS. And then 3 months, at least 3 months work experience. And beneficial is also international, if you have already international experience. And then what we also, the most important part actually for us is the personal fit. And that's why we invite all of our applicants, if you meet the main criteria, we invite all of our applicants to a personal admission interview. And this will be done by one of our professors. And for our German candidates or candidates who are able to come to HHL for the admission interview, we have an admission test day on site. So here at HHL on campus, and there you have 2 interviews, one with a professor, one with one of our company representative. And you have to give a presentation. This is the second part. You have to give a presentation. You get a topic from us. And then you have 1 hour time to prepare for this presentation. And then you have to give this presentation. And then at the end, there will be also a networking event with our students, and we will show you the campus and so on. Yeah, and if you live, far away, so if you are not able to come to HHL for the admission interview, then we of course offer also virtual admission interviews. And here again, you have an interview with a professor. You also have to give a presentation. You get for the virtual interview, you get a presentation 2 days in advance of the interview. Then you have to prepare a PowerPoint presentation and give the presentation. And normally you get the admission 1 week, 10 days after the interview took place. So then I would like to invite you to some of our upcoming events. For instance, next week we have a program introduction of our new entrepreneurship track. And the week after, in May 4th, we have an also quite interesting webinar, I think, for you, how to successfully apply to HHL. So where our admission team will give you tips and tricks and how to write your motivation letter and what you should consider by applying for HHL. So I think that's from my side. Yes, that's it. So then I stop sharing my screen, and of course I'm also open for your questions.
Thank you very much, Jana, for wonderful presentation and especially for very good recommendations. I think it will be really useful for students. And yeah, there are some questions, but we'll address them towards the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move forward. And now let me introduce to the floor Benedikt from University of Cologne. And now we are finally in the West Germany. And let me stop sharing my screen and invite Benedikt to the floor.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you can see my screen. I'm Benedikt. I'm the admission manager from the University of Cologne Business School. The business school is a private sector of the University of Cologne, and we are founded in 2016 because of the demand for executive education in the western part of Germany and Benelux, and of course for all international students. Today I'm here to present you the Cologne-Rotterdam Executive MBA. It's a part-time program. And before I starting going through all the topics, I want to invite you to a little survey. You can put out your phone and scan these codes, please. And there's a little question. What's the most important when doing an executive MBA? You can select 2 options, and then I will share the live results. So maybe 1 minute to scan and answer the question. So the first results are incoming. So I hope everyone is already scanned, because I will switch the screen that we see the results. This is working, that you see the results already. So as we see, okay, personal development with 9, networking with 6. And I will come up to this later, because these are particular really important points for doing an MBA, an executive MBA on a business school. Peer group prize, okay, there's some results incoming, but personal development is the most important thing here. Okay, we're switching back to the presentation. Okay. So 6 reasons to choose the Cologne-Rotterdam MBA. Of course, it's an attractive program. We have a really nice personal leadership development program. We have a nice schedule, and of course, excellent network, great reputation. We are also have the accreditation of Aquas, and so on. So first of all, the most important thing is that it's a double degree. You get 2 masters, one of the University of Cologne and one of the Rotterdam School of Management. The Rotterdam School of Management is also a triple-crowned university, and you have to do a combined degree here. It's a 24-month program. The first year is the basic year for the management development. So you learn everything about marketing, HR, and so on. From the beginning on, you see it here, in the first week, we have the Welcome Week in Cologne. There starts our personal leadership development program. It's a program during the 2 years combined with the individual coaching. So you get a coach on your side who helps you through the 2 years. And second term, there's the RSM week. So you have to step to Rotterdam, doing your study there, and connect with the other students. In the third term, we have study trips, depending on your electives. Here you can choose your focus point of your studies. You can choose 3 out of 45 electives. And in the fourth term, there's a full week of leadership experience in Norway. For our PLD, this is the main point. As I said, it's an executive MBA. So we are looking for people who want to lead people or the company really well in the future. There's a nice feedback program. We have a lot of workshops. As I said, the individual coaching sessions with our coaches on the university or at home, and the leadership expedition. For the study trips, this is one thing I really wanted to point it out, because we have a lot of cooperations with the other universities all over the world, and you have a full week of studying in such a nice environment like the LSU in Los Angeles. It's not like in holidays, you have to do some work there, and this is one of the nice experience we offer in our program. To our class, or our classroom, what's really important for us, it's really diverse. We have students from all over the world with highly diverse educational background and even in the nationalities. So what we are aiming for is not people who studied economics. We are searching for the engineers, for the architects, for the lawyers who wants to make the next step at the career ladder and wants to get a general overview and skill set of management. So we are looking for these people who want to get the leader in the company. For our networking, it's really important to point it out that you have the network of 2 highly recommended universities, the University of Cologne and the RSM of Rotterdam. So you're connected to the alumni network of both of the universities. We do a lot of company visits. So once in the quarter, we do company visit with some really big companies here, that the company can present their company to the students, and you can network with the HR and the companies. Leadership expedition in Norway. So here's some quick pictures. We had a nice video on our homepage, you can check it out. For this one, it's really nice because you are in a out of the comfort zone context. You have to sleep in tents, you go kayaking, you go hiking, and for every day, someone is the leader of the day, and you have to bring the group to a certain point. It's really nice because you're learning everything you have to do in a company in another context. But we're happy that, of course, everyone comes back again. At the end, you have to write your master thesis. You're allowed to do it in company, that you can write over a topic with your company, and you get your double degree at the University of Cologne and Rotterdam. For our requirements, we have a minimum of 4 years professional experience. So you need some experience in leadership or project management. Of course, you need a degree, bachelor minimum. Some of our students have already a master degree or a PhD. You have a proof of English skills, TOEFL, ESTM, and what the most important thing is that you are the personal fit to our university, because in our classroom, we work a lot with case studies, group works, and we need team players who want to put the team forward and not the one-man show. For admission process, the first thing is you have to get informed about the MBA. Send out the application, then we have the one-to-one interview with our admission manager. After this, when you see, okay, the program is a fit for you, you get an invitation to the admission committee. There you will speak with some representatives from the University of Cologne and the RSM. And after this, you get an offer or not. This time frame is about 3 to 4 weeks. Depends on you and the flexibility on your time scale. If you have any question, you can contact our admission managers, me and my colleague Sabine Kuschel, and we can make an appointment for a one-to-one conversation. And here I have a little short overview of key facts about the program. So as I said, it's a part-time program. Every second week on Friday and Saturday, there are the lectures. Language is English. The class profile, international student body with highly diverse education and industry backgrounds. So I think mainly we have engineers, lawyers, architects, some business guys, some guys from the finance world. Really nice. We always started in September, and we have an early bird discount if you apply until the end of May. For the scholarships, you have to write some essays why you depend the scholarship, and you see some more information on our homepage. If you're here nearby in Cologne, come to our campus on the 13th of April. There we have an information session that you can connect with some alumni, with the actual now students, because they have class on this day, and you have a quick chat with us. Thank you for your time, and I hope we have some interesting questions here.
Thank you very much, Benedikt. Yeah, we already have at least 2 direct questions to you, and there are some that we received earlier, and we will address them very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
I can answer them in the chat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you would like to, you can answer them. Thank you very much for a concise and interesting presentation. And before we move to our live Q&A session, we have one more presentation for you, dear guests. So now we are sticking close to Kern. This is really nice. And we have Paul Noske from WHO Otto Beisheim School of Management. And you can see that he will focus on 2 bachelor programs. Let me stop sharing the screen, and he will talk about all right now.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'll just start sharing my screen. Yeah, thanks very much for having me. So at WHU, we have bachelor's programs, we have master's programs, we have MBAs. I'll be focusing on the bachelor's programs for today. I can mention the master's programs as well, though, a bit later in the presentation. Just quickly about WHU. Yeah, we've been around since 1984. We have 2 bachelor's programs and 4 master's programs, 55 professors, 72 guest lecturers per year, and just under 2,000 students altogether. And we also have a network of partner universities all around the world, and currently we have 220 of those. So in the bachelor's programs, every student does a semester abroad at one of our partner universities. Yeah, so yeah, you saw on the map already where we're located. It's not a big city like Berlin or Leipzig or Cologne, but it's very close to Koblenz. Koblenz is, you can see up here the top left, where the Rhine River and the Mosel River flow together. And on the bottom left, you can see the main building of our campus. It's a nice former palace, which has some really nice so on the bottom left, it has some really nice spaces like a vaulted cellar and a chapel where we have events and concerts and things like that. The top right, you can see the courtyard of this building, and bottom right is just a building in Koblenz. There are lots of nice buildings there as well, and it's a very nice city. It's a smaller city. And it's located about 15 minutes from our campus, which is in Fallenda. Sorry, I forgot to mention we're close to Koblenz, and we're just across the other side of the river in a place called Fallenda. So looking around the region, you have lots of forests, lots of castles, lots of places to go hiking, and of course there are a couple of big cities not far away, Cologne and Frankfurt. I'm sure many of you have heard of at least Frankfurt. Yeah, these are about 1.5 hours away by train or car. So why WHU? Yeah, we're also a very international, renowned business university in Germany. We take pride in academic excellence. So the degrees we offer are globally recognized. It's one of Germany's leading business schools. We have a very international mindset with not only the courses, but also the fact that everyone does a semester abroad, and everybody does 2 internships as well during the bachelor programs, and at least one of these internships has to be abroad as well. We have a very strong business network. That's thanks to our career center, who have a really nice, strong network with about 160 companies, but also we have a strong alumni network as well. So this is also really helpful when you're looking for internships or your career and things like that. Yeah, we have really nice conditions for studying, a personal learning environment, small classes, state-of-the-art technology. And we also talk about a VHU spirit, so the feeling of being part of this supportive community, making friends, and also the events have a lot to do with generating this sort of the spirit that we see on the campus in Vallendar. Yeah, so I mean, Laurence actually already mentioned these accreditation companies or organizations at the beginning: AACSB, EQUIS, FIBA. Once again, it just means the degrees are globally recognized. We also see nice placements in the rankings. For example, in the Financial Times, we have the placement number 2 in Germany, number 19 in Europe. Yeah, on the websites, if you're interested in seeing the rankings for the master's degree, for example, you can always have a look at the website for that. Looking at our 2 bachelor's programs, we have a bachelor in business psychology. This is actually a new program, so it's really interesting. It's a Bachelor of Science degree. It focuses on organizational psychology and international management. The duration is 6 semesters across 3 years. It's offered completely in English. And the location obviously being Vallendar, the campus in Vallendar, and also 1 semester at a partner university. There are 2 internships, at least one has to be done abroad. And this leads to careers in areas like personal development, corporate communication, product management, but also, of course, in marketing, market research, and human resources management, fields like that. If we take a closer look at the whole kind of degree across the 6 semesters, we see that in the first 3 semesters, we really support our students. You have core modules in business and economics, core modules of psychology, foundations of law, statistics to support those courses. There's always a language component, so every student will do a foreign language. Many of our students choose a business English, so they can improve their business English. But if you already have a really good level of English, you can choose from a list of other languages. From the 4th semester onwards, there is a bit more sort of, you can freely choose what we call concentration modules. So we have a whole pool of different courses and modules in the area of organizational psychology, or here we have some examples: managing diversity and change, marketing communication, and consumer psychology. And there are also obviously modules in the field of international management. Yeah, there's also a general studies component, which is basically, it just gives you an opportunity to take some courses in some other fields. For example, we have biotechnology or the history of Germany, coding boot camp. This is just to sort of improve general knowledge while you're doing your business degree. Yeah, in the 4th or 5th semester, we see the semester abroad. So everyone does that either in the 4th or in the 5th semester. The internships are done during the summer breaks. And then at the end, everyone comes back to Vallendar in the 6th semester. There are some seminars. There's a module on ethics and sustainability, which relates to your internships. And then, of course, you write the bachelor thesis at the end. So altogether, 180 credit points. And then many of our students go on to do a master's degree after that. There are some optional additional courses that you can choose, which you can see here at the bottom. There's a business law course. This is taught entirely in German, so you'd have to be a German speaker for that, but there are other courses as well for if you don't speak German. You can take extra language courses or extra general studies courses, for example. So looking at our other bachelor's degree, the Bachelor in International Business Administration, we've been offering this one for a lot longer. Its focus of study is international management. It also goes for 6 semesters. This one can be studied completely in English, or that we have a bilingual track in English and German. Yeah, same location, internships too. This leads to careers in often business consulting, marketing, finance, but also a lot of other areas, especially those interested in doing a master's in management, or we also have a master's in finance, a master's in entrepreneurship, and a master's in international business. Yeah, we'll have a look at a little bit later at the what our students generally do after they complete the bachelor's courses. But just looking a bit closer at the curriculum, we have in the first 3 semesters just a really strong focus on the core modules of business and economics, quantitative methods, foundations of law, once again the language component, and then from the 4th semester on, just more options in terms of the concentrations in the field of international management, business administration. Yeah, and otherwise the structure is quite similar to the Bachelor in Business Psychology. You see also the semester abroad and the internships, etc. A quick look at the partner universities. These are just some examples, but basically you can choose a partner university anywhere in the world and do your semester abroad there. So you can see, for example, some other really well-known business universities in the world. The internship abroad also, you can choose pretty much any location for that. Our Career Center has a strong network with 160 partner companies, so most of our students will do an internship with one of those companies. But yeah, there are other opportunities too, and these companies also come to our campus. Our Career Center organizes lots of events, on-campus recruiting events, where the companies come and give a talk and exchange with our students. So looking quickly at the first steps after graduation, we see about half of our bachelor students going on to a master's degree. Here we see about 36% taking a gap year before further study. And during that gap year, they usually take the time off to do further internships, longer internships, 6 months, 9 months, see what they would like to, in which direction they would like to go. Maybe their own projects, online business, starting a startup or something like that. A couple of them do go into the workforce after their bachelor's degree, but yeah, most of them will continue studying. Yeah, so 8 years after the graduation, so generally after a master's degree, etc., we see that our graduates are involved in lots of different industries and sectors. Like the biggest one is consulting, but we also see the bank and financial sector, founder and entrepreneurship, industry and services, IT, software, internet, or trade, education and science, media, printing and publishing. Yeah, so there's quite a wide variety of fields that they're active in. Yeah, we've in terms of unicorns, WHU is our students are very well known for being very active on the startup scene, and these are some of the unicorn companies that have their roots in WHU. Sorry if I've been saying WHU at some point. I'm very used to saying WHU, the German pronunciation of the letters WHU, just so you know. Yeah, so some of you might know Flixbus. Zalando is a big online clothing business. For example, HelloFresh. Yeah, so these are some of the brands that have come from WHU beginning. In terms of the student life, there are over 30 student clubs, and here are just 3 examples of clubs or events that they organize. We have a student club for equality for women, FEM, and we have also an annual Congress Forum WHU, which is all about promoting the exchange between politics, business, and society. There's also the Campus for Finance, which is actually 2 conferences per year, and it's all about discussing the future plans of companies in the financial industry. So these are organized by our students, and yeah, being part of a student club is quite a big part of yeah, the student life. Not everyone joins one, but a lot of our students do. And they get involved in organizing the events. They get a lot of practice, a lot of experience in event management, and you know, there are some big events for sport. For example, we have the WHU Euromasters, which is a really big sports event between lots of different business schools, which is organized and takes place on our campus in Vallendar. But there are charity concerts, and you can get involved in supporting the local community as a first responder, for example. Yeah, we also have a chat portal, a UniBuddy chat portal on our website if you want to get in touch with some students and ask more about the campus life or their experiences. There are international students, local students from Germany, and you can select which course, you know, bachelor's, master's, etc. you're interested in, and find a student who's doing that course who can let you know what it's like. In terms of admissions, we require a CV and letter of motivation, a secondary school diploma, meeting the requirements for studying in Germany. If you're unsure about this, you can always just send us an email, send us a copy of your most recent grades, and we can give you more feedback. Of course, we need you to prove your English language skills, because our courses are mostly in English, if not completely in English. So we accept TOEFL, IELTS, and Cambridge for that. Also, we ask for a 6-week internship or an apprenticeship. It has to be business related, but this can be done right up until the beginning of the studies. So that's also one of our admission requirements. The process has 3 steps. First, the application, then we review, we invite about 450 candidates to the final admission round, mostly based on grades, but we also invite about 1/3 based on their personality and motivation, because we're really just, you know, looking for the right candidates for our courses. And then in the end, there's an admission round with an analytical test, a presentation, and then interviews. And at the end, we have 240 study places each year to offer. So the application period's from October to May. The early bird deadline is already over, unfortunately, but after that just means there's an application fee. You can also apply with your most recent scorecard or your predicted grades if you haven't finished, if you haven't graduated from school yet. I'll just try and speed up very quickly now, because we're getting close to the end. So tuition fees are 7,500 per semester for students from EU countries, or 12,750 per semester from students from non-EU countries. Living expenses in Vallendar are about 850 euros per month. The tuition fees include pretty much, you know, everything in the regular study program, the semester abroad as well. There are no hidden costs or examination fees or anything. And we do offer a lot of scholarships, and there are also other financing options such as brain capital or external scholarships as well. So really the decision to study at WHU should not depend on the tuition fees. Just a quick overview of upcoming events. On the 13th, we have an online event, a virtual info session. 30th of April. On the 23rd of April, we have an open day on campus. It's in German, but on the 3rd of December, we have one online in English. And if you're interested in applying for the second round, the first round is already over for this year's intake, but we do have a second round, and the deadline is May 25th. So I'll leave it there. And look forward to any questions in the Q&A session. Thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much for another nice presentation. And yeah, I would like to invite also Benedikt to turn on his camera as we are moving into the live Q&A session. And Benedikt, thanks a lot for answering the questions in the Q&A, which are directed to you. And before I start with some general questions that are relevant to all of you, let me first start with Paul, who has just finished. There are 2 questions that are relevant to your program. So you mentioned in the beginning that it's possible to do a thesis with a company, if I'm not mistaken.
A thesis with a company, the bachelor thesis, do you mean?
You mentioned, I think, in the beginning about the master thesis, right?
Oh,
Or
was it Benedikt?
maybe I messed up.
I think it was me.
It was you. Sorry, I messed
No
up.
problem.
Then sorry. Then it is a question to Benedikt. So thesis with company, and the question is like, is it possible also to do a thesis with a company which is based in the home country of a student, or are there any restrictions?
No, as far as I'm concerned, there are no restrictions there. But he has to use valid data. So there has to be some science-based background that we can grade this master thesis correctly. But for the location of the companies, there's no concern that is international.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I think I shouldn't be mistaken. Now it's to Paul, because you mentioned lots of countries where students can do internships. They can go there and do internships. And the question is it upon the students to take up the cost for traveling, or is there any way from the program to cover these costs?
That's actually a really good question. I'm not exactly sure how that works. The Career Center assists our students a lot to find the internship. That would actually, it would be best to get in contact directly with our Career Center, and you can find their contact details on the website. But sorry that I can't help you more with that question.
It's no problem. Thank you very much, at least for giving the contact. So it's good. Thank you very much, Paul. And now one specific question for Jana. Toward the end, you mentioned some events where the students can attend and they will be able to get some tips for the application, etc. So the question is this only the tips, for example, only for the mentioned program, or there are some other programs that we presented and to get some tips for their admission as well?
Yeah, it's for all our programs. Yeah, it's generally the whole not whole admission team, but two members of the admission team will host this. Is also a virtual event. Will host this webinar, and they talk about all admission topics for all programs, and people can ask all questions regarding all programs. Yeah.
Great, good to know. And let's then now also with Jana and move to some general questions, which I will address to all of you. So all of you to a certain extent already mentioned this, but still regarding the GMAT and GPA. So is there a GMAT or GPA requirement? If yes, could you please provide with the exact numbers? Let's start with Jana. You mentioned, I think 650, but just one more time.
Exactly. So the GMAT requirement is 600 at least, and for scholarships is 650. And when it comes to GPA, so we are more flexible. Yeah, we don't just look for GPA or for GMAT. So at the end, the admission interview is the most important part in the whole application process. So it should be, we say, an outstanding grade, but what is outstanding? Yeah, it should be, on the German scale, it should be a 1 or a 2. It depends of course where you're from. Yeah, it should be above average. But as I said, so the GPA is not the most important thing.
Yeah, actually, thank you for mentioning that, Jana, because we very often get these questions like, if I have a low GPA, can I still get into the program, or what is the most important? And you are saying now pushing more on interview, which is really nice, because sometimes students have this stereotype that GPA is the only thing that matters. So thank you for bringing it up. And just one small comment regarding GPAs for those who are interested. If you find in a program some specific GPA requirement of 2.5, this is not according to your scale. This is a German scale. So you can. I will provide a bit later the link where you can see how your GPA translates into German GPA, because in Germany, 1 is the best GPA, which is a bit strange for outsiders, but it is what it is. And upper you go, the worse is your grade. Yes, Benedikt, please.
Yes, at the University of Cologne Business School, you don't need a GMAT because as everywhere we focus on the admission interview, and we want to see if the candidate has the right mindset to do such a program, that he brings enough experience to bring a benefit to the program as well. So we don't need the GMAT. What is important and is necessary that you have a bachelor's degree. minimum, so that you're allowed to do a master degrees in Germany.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Paul?
Sorry, I just unmute myself. Yeah, so for the bachelor's programs, it's not required at all. For the master's programs, I'm not an expert on the master's degrees, but I had a quick look at the website. And for the Master in International Business, Master in Finance, and Master in Management, it is necessary to prove strong analytical and quantitative skills. And they've mentioned here that a GMAT score of at least 600, but also a GRE or a TM base is also possible for those three. For the Master in Entrepreneurship, that is not a requirement. There are other requirements for that. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. And let's now start with Paul. Don't mute yourself.
Sorry.
I have a question for you. So, and for everyone, regarding the gap year. So, is there any problem if a student has a gap year for 1 year? If 1 year is a problem, is not a problem. Is it a problem to have a 10 years gap before the studies? So, yeah, let's start with Paul.
Before the bachelor's degree, I'm assuming, yeah. Well, the average age is 19 for the bachelor's programs. It's quite a small cohort, being 240 per year. It's not, it's not a requirement to have a short gap year. It's definitely possible if you're the right candidate, but it's worth knowing, the sort of the general atmosphere of the course, and if you're comfortable with that, if you're a good candidate, there's definitely a possibility to study the bachelor's degree. Yeah.
Great, good to know. Thank you very much. Benedikt?
No, I think it's not a problem to make this, but what is important for us is the experience you getting before starting the master degree. So you need certain experience in leadership and management. So it's not necessary. If you have a gap year before, fine for you.
Yeah, good. Thank you. And Jana?
Yeah, I know that the gap year is quite common, especially here in Germany. I know that many students do their gap year after the bachelor studies, so they just try and do some internships, or they want to gain some practical experience. And this is very good for us indeed. So we also take this into consideration when you apply for our master's program. So it is beneficial. Up to 10 years, I mean, this doesn't make sense for us. Yeah, the master's degree is designed for young graduates who just finished their bachelor studies or have, let's say, 1 or 2 year work experience. If you have more, up to 5-10 years work experience, then we recommend the MBA program. But for the master's degree, it doesn't make sense. So in my eyes,
yeah. Fair enough. Thank you very much, Jana, for sharing your thoughts. And Benedikt touched upon the experience, and all of you actually touched upon this important element. I've heard many times that some programs are very specific in terms of when the person collected this experience, and especially maybe it's more relevant to master programs. So they're saying after you graduate from your bachelor's level, after that you need, for example, particular level of experience. But is it so specific in your terms, or for you it's also okay if the person collected during the bachelor, let's say, or before the bachelor? I don't know. So are you also strict in this regard, or not? Jana?
No, for us, so it can be during the studies, during your bachelor studies, or it can be afterwards. Yeah. So it depends on the university. Some universities don't give you the freedom to get or the opportunity to do an internships. Yeah, especially in Germany, some universities just have the theoretical. And then you have to do the internship or the practical experience afterwards. But for us, it's the same. Yeah, if you do it during or after the bachelor, it's both perfect. Yeah.
Thank you, Benedikt.
For the reasons that we are addressing people who have some leadership experience, we have the requirement that the experience is collected after the bachelor's degrees. There we have a little room of interpretation. So, for example, a PhD is also the time of work experience, but you have to do a classic job after your bachelor's degrees to collect the 4 years of experience.
Okay, thank you. And Paul, I think it's not relevant to bachelor programs, not that much, but there is one question in the chat actually, which is relevant to you, because Henry is asking, from the programs that you presented, are there any options for doing the studies online only?
No, unfortunately not. Both of the bachelor's programs are, like full-time on-campus courses. So yeah, we do have a global online MBA, but apart from that, our bachelor's and master's programs are on campus.
Okay. Thank you very much. Another question from the chat, actually, it includes a question about gap year, but we addressed it. However, it also has a point about the academic degree, a previous academic degree. For example, if a person has Bachelor of Chemistry, and you mentioned that, okay, you are expecting more relevant like economics, business administration, but if the person has a Bachelor in Chemistry, will he be eligible, or you are also more or less strict in terms of background? Jana.
Yeah, in our case, unfortunately, we are very strict. So it has to be a bachelor in a business-related subject. Yeah, that's the case. So if you have done a bachelor in a non-business degree, we often recommend the MBA program if you have enough work experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Benedikt?
We are happy to welcome people who are not studied economics, because in our study model, we have, as I said, we work a lot with group works, and we are happy to see people from different branches working together at a problem, because a lawyer see a marketing problem other than a guy from engineering or chemistry. So we are looking for these people who are not studying economics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Good to know. And Paul, maybe if in case you have any information also regarding the master programs and their requirements regarding bachelor.
Yeah, I just looking quickly at the website. It does look like that my colleagues in the master's team do seek candidates with a bachelor's degree in a business-related field, such as business engineering, business psychology, etc. Yeah, but there might be a possibility to have an exception there. You would have to get in contact with our master's team, and maybe if you're able to really show that you have some experience, some work experience, and strong motivation for business, there might be a possibility, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. And last but not least, and we can call it a day. So the question is, after applying to the program, when to expect the results of application, because some people have concerns regarding their visa. So how soon they will get it, non-EU students, obviously, how soon they will get the answers so that they can already apply for a visa. And let's start with Paul.
Yeah, so when you apply for one of the bachelor's programs at WHU, we're generally quite quick with giving you a result. You'd have to go through the admissions process, and if it was this year, you'd be going into the second round, you would have an answer within a week after the interview, so beginning of July. But in general, if we have 2 rounds, so for next year, for example, it would be a week after the final date in that round.
Okay, great. Thank you. Benedikt?
I think we are pretty same like the WHU. We need 3 to 4 weeks for the application process. But I want to point it out that it's hard for non-European citizenship people to get a visa for a part-time program, because often they don't get a student visa there.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think now Georgi is frozen.
Oh.
Yeah, I can also add, so from our side, that it takes about 1 week after the interview, you get the result from us. So once you applied, you get the admission interview, your personal date, and then 1 week after the admission interview, you get the result from us. So hi Totti, yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, you see, Zoom is kicking me out. It's saying me that I'm going over time. Sorry for that. So, did you hear my question? Sorry.
You all answered the question.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and sorry for that. Okay, Zoom, I'm calling it a day soon. just a second. Yeah, thank you very much all for your answers and for the questions from our attendees. Yeah, just as a suggestion to our attendees, for those, for example, who are more interested in bachelor programs, because today they were present mostly by poll. So you can attend our webinar, general webinar in Studying in Germany, and we will tell you some things about how to apply to bachelor, how to, for example, apply to WHU, in this case, to their bachelor programs. And also for those, yeah, you can see it on 5th of April, the webinar. And also we have a special Q&A, master's Q&A session on 1st of April, actually, very soon. So there you can also see what is about generally studying masters, doing masters, for example, or in Leipzig or in Köln. So you can get some general information about that, about application procedure, etc., about GPA or whatever. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching, for being with us, to our guests. If you have any specific questions to our programs, you are more than welcome to ask them via their emails. They all share the information that they are open for that. So you're more than welcome. And if you have any other general questions regarding studying in Germany, you can also text us at info@mygermanuniversity.com, and we will also get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, it will be also great to hear from you regarding today's webinar, some comments, some concerns, what you like, what you did not, so that we can improve in the future. Yes, so once again, thanks a lot to our guests, to our attendees, and wish you a very nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Ciao.